Terrifying science facts. What the public doesn't know. Hello, scientists of Reddit. What's a scary science fact that the public knows nothing about? Scientific literature's conclusion on Alzheimer's disease and other neurodegenerative diseases in general is that the diseases start decades before the obvious symptoms. We need to treat them at this stage. When you exhibit obvious symptoms, it's too late. Your brain is already mush. If you get diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 65, you had the disease since at least your early 40s. You may have experienced very mild symptoms but didn't notice. Story 2. If your dog swims in a lake after receiving a spot-on flea treatment, it absolutely decimates the invertebrate population. A large dog swimming in 8 Olympic swimming pools worth of water soon after treatment will leach enough neurotoxin to kill 50% of the lake's invertebrate population within 48 hours. There's some awareness of this, but it's not being taken seriously enough. Story 3. Prions, misfolded proteins, cause a cascade of protein misfoldings that lead to amyloid plaque buildups, resulting in uncontrollable neurodegeneration that is fatal in 100% of cases within 2 years. There is no cure. We don't understand what causes it, we don't understand the mechanism of the misfolding cascade, and we don't even fully understand the structure of the misfolded proteins. It could, in theory, happen to anyone at any time, and there's no way to tell until you start showing symptom. Story 4. Antibiotics have been abused and misused for so long that various bacterial strains have started to develop resistance to them. What used to be a treatable infection might soon become deadly because we are unable to treat it with the antibiotics we have today. There is research to try and find other ways to treat antibiotic-resistant bacteria. But until then, please use prescribed antibiotics until they are finished, not until you feel better. If unused, do not flush them down the toilet or put. Story 5. Everyone knows about scurvy, but the reason it's so terrifying is usually less known. Scar tissue is not permanent. The process to build and maintain scar tissue is constantly ongoing. When you become vitamin C deficient, your scar tissue starts being reabsorbed by your body, opening up any and all old wounds. If you've ever had surgery, those internal incisions will open back up. Fortunately, it doesn't take a lot of vitamin C and it's abundant in our food sources, but it's still a little creep. Story 6. Helium. Fun for party balloons. Everybody likes a squeaky voice. Except helium is a vital component of various high-tech devices such as MRIs. Helium is also light enough that Earth's gravity cannot contain it, and we are running out. Not today, not tomorrow, but we are frivolously wasting it when we should be jealously hoarding it. Eventually, we won't have any left, and a lot of our wonderful technology will suddenly stop working. Story 7. There's a gravitational anomaly in space called the Great Attractor, which is pulling everything within the Virgo and Hydra Centaurus superclusters toward it. It lies 150 to 250 million light-years from the Milky Way, which itself is being pulled towards it. The scary part is that relative to us, this anomaly lies within the same plane as our own galaxy, making it very difficult to observe. Essentially, we have almost no concrete idea of what it is. Story 8. On the flip side of the Great Attractor is the Boat's Void. Sometimes called the Great Void, it's a huge spherical region of space that contains very few galaxies. It's approximately 700 million light-years from Earth and located near the constellation Boats, which is how it got its name. The supervoid measures 250 million light-years in diameter. At first, astronomers were only able to find 8 galaxies across the expanse, but further observations revealed a total of 60. That's still like Saint. Story 9. If you live in the Netherlands and your house is older than 100 years and you haven't renovated your plumbing, chances are fairly high that you could get lead poisoning. Water treatment companies can't pinpoint where the lead pipes are, and many building plans don't include plumbing schematics. Check your pipes. Story 10. Cancer geneticist here. Most cases of cancer that are sequenced generally denote the prognosis or how long a person has to live rather than treatment options. People always say, let's cure cancer, but this simplifies cancer as though it's one disease. It's far more complicated than that. Story 11. In the UK, about 17% of people have fetal alcohol syndrome, meaning nearly 17% of the population is developmentally disabled due to mothers drinking during pregnancy. Story 12. The original nuclear bombs that leveled cities are considered tiny by today's standards. The Tsar Bomba, the most powerful nuclear bomb ever created, had an explosive yield 3,000 times more powerful than those used in World War II. Story 13. We are degrading and losing our topsoil at a rate where we may not be able to produce enough food within 50 to 60 years. Story 14. A coronal mass ejection, from the sun could hit Earth and cause widespread damage to electrical systems, resulting in an apocalypse-like scenario. Story 15. Botox is made from one of the most lethal toxins known to man, botulinum toxin, and yet we inject it for cosmetic purposes. Story 16. Humans rely on evaporating sweat to stay cool. If humidity gets too high, relatively low heat can kill humans. By 2050, multiple wet bulb events are expected to occur in the North China Plain, affecting around 400 million people. This is terrifying because humans cannot easily sense extreme humidity levels until it is too late. Story 17. Our food is becoming less nutritious as plants absorb more CO2. While this allows for more carbohydrate production, the mineral, micronutrient, and protein content is not increasing, which may contribute to the obesity epidemic. Story 18. Rabies, gamma-ray bursts, and runaway global warming are three terrifying phenomena. Rabies is almost 100% fatal once symptoms appear. Gamma-ray bursts could annihilate Earth if one hits close enough. Global warming may be unstoppable, even if humanity halts all emissions immediately. Story 19. The cosmic horizon theory suggests that due to the universe's expansion, we may eventually be unable to see or communicate with anything beyond a certain point in space. Story 20. The universe might be metastable, meaning that at any moment, a sphere of influence could spread that would rewrite the laws of physics, making life impossible. Story 21. CPR is not as effective as people think, with a success rate of only 10%. It's crucial to administer AED shocks as quickly as possible. Performing CPR properly can sound like breaking ribs, but that's often necessary to save a life. Story 22. There are regions in space where the universe's expansion is so fast that even traveling at the speed of light wouldn't allow one to reach a destination. Worse, once a certain distance is crossed, returning would also be impossible.